All right, so we're going to start off with the steps to solving a linear system by graphing. If you look at your notes, we call this method the graph and check method. Okay, so if we start with step one, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to graph both linear equations on the same coordinate plane. Okay, so you should be able to do this. We learned back in Unit 5 how to graph a linear equation with your y-intercept, and then you rise over run, you go up or down or something like that. When you have a system of linear equations, they all have to be on the same plane or the same graph. That's how you can compare and find the solution. Okay, so when we graph them, we're hoping that all of your equations are in slope-intercept form. If they're not, let's add to step one. Put equation in slope-intercept form if needed. Now, the ones I'm going to give you, for the most part, they're going to all be in slope-intercept form. But if not, we've been doing this since Unit 3. You've got to pretty much take your equation and solve for y. And then everything that's on the right side should be your mx plus b, should be your slope and your y-intercept. So that's step one. And I'll show you so you'll remember how to do that. We'll go through that step in an example in a minute. Step two is hopefully you're going to see when you graph these lines a point of intersection. There's going to be a point where these lines meet, all right? And so you're going to estimate the coordinates of the point of intersection. Now, when we say estimate, that means that you need to be able to look at your point and just tell me where it is. Now, that's going to be easy if it's like right, nice and pretty right on the line. If you can go over and up or down or whatever, you can say, okay, that's point 3,6 or something like that. But if not, if it's like kind of in between, you're going to have to estimate a little bit where you think it will be. All right, this point of intersection, this is your solution. The point of intersection is the point that both graphs share. So that's your solution because that x and y satisfies both lines that you graphed. So this will be your solution. This is your solution, okay, on the graph. Now, because you're not sure, like if your point is just a little off and you're like trying to figure out, is it a 3 or is it a 4, is it in between? That's where step 3 comes in. And this is going to show me those of you that are serious, mature math students, and those of you that are just going to write something down and not check it. Step 3 is where you have to check your coordinate. Because what if you're off? What if you put that the point was at 3 and it should have been at 4? If you don't check it, you're not going to know. So step 3 says check the coordinates of the point of intersection by substituting the x and y, because that's what you're going to get. That ordered pair is going to give you the x and y. The x and y in each equation. In each equation of the system. So what's going to happen is if you plug in your x and your y, you should get the same number on the left as you do on the right. If that's the case, then you've got the point of solution. If you don't, then you're off a little bit and you need to go back and check your estimate and make sure that you got the right coordinates. So these are your steps. And what we're going to do next is we're going to try these. If you notice, you've only got 2 examples because you already know how to graph. So step 1 should be a piece of cake because we've been graphing since Unit 5. Step 2, that's just finding your solution. Step 3 is where you're going to have to really make sure you buckle down and do what you're supposed to do to check your answer.